My beloved child, listen closely. I have something urgent to tell you, and it cannot wait for another moment. This is not a message meant for later, not something to save for a quieter day or a calmer season. This moment, right now, is the moment I chose to speak. Out of all the noise around you, out of all the thoughts racing through your mind, I'm asking you to pause and hear me. There is a reason your heart feels restless. There is a reason something inside you leaned in when you heard these words. You are not here by accident. I know you have been carrying a weight you cannot fully name. Some days it feels like pressure, other days like emptiness, and sometimes like a quiet fear that follows you even when you smile. You have tried to stay strong. You have told yourself to push through, to ignore the ache, to keep moving. But I see what you hide. I hear the questions you never say out loud. And that is why I am speaking now, because your heart needs truth before it grows tired of hoping. Listen closely, my child. What I am about to remind you of has the power to steady you, to ground you, to bring peace where confusion has lived too long. You may feel as though time is slipping through your fingers, as though something important is at stake and you do not know what move to make next. That sense of urgency you feel did not come to harm you. It came to draw you nearer to me. I am not rushing you in fear. I am calling you into safety. Do not assume this message is for someone else. Do not tell yourself you stumbled upon this by coincidence. I speak with intention, and I call my children by name. You may not hear me with your ears, but your spirit recognizes my voice. The gentle pull you feel right now is not pressure. It is love reaching for you. I know where you have been. I know what today cost you. I know how much effort it took just to keep going. There are moments when silence feels louder than answers, and I know you have lived in some of those moments. You have wondered if I see you, if I remember you, if your story still matters. Hear me clearly now. I see you completely. I have never looked away. And what I am about to unfold in your heart begins with this simple truth. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. And you are not running out of time. This is why I ask you to listen closely. Not to alarm you, but to hold you. Not to overwhelm you, but to reassure you. Stay here with me. Let the noise fade for just a little while. Breathe. You do not need to have everything figured out to be safe with me. This message begins now, and it begins with my love surrounding you exactly where you are. My beloved child, before you ever found the words to explain yourself, I already knew you. Before you tried to make sense of what you are feeling, I understood it fully. There is nothing about you that surprises me, and nothing about your silence that confuses me. I see you not only as you present yourself to the world, but as you truly are when no one else is watching. I see the strength you show, and I also see the weariness beneath it. You have moments when you wonder if anyone truly notices how much effort it takes just to be okay. You move through your days carrying responsibilities, expectations, and quiet fears, and you rarely stop long enough to acknowledge how heavy they feel. But I have been watching you closely. I have seen the nights when your thoughts would not let you rest. I have seen the pauses in your breath when worry crept in. I have seen the courage it took to keep going even when you felt unsure. Hear me now. You do not have to explain yourself to me. You do not need the right words or the right posture. I'm not waiting for you to perform or to prove anything. I know the parts of you that feel unfinished. I know the questions you wrestle with in private. I know the places where doubt tries to settle in your heart. And still, I look at you with love that does not waver. You may feel misunderstood by others or even by yourself. Some days you are not sure why you feel the way you do, why certain memories resurface. or why hope feels fragile. But I know how every experience has shaped you. I know how every disappointment left a mark. I know how every prayer you whispered carried more faith than you realized. Nothing about your journey has been invisible to me. There are things you have never said out loud because you feared they might be too much, too messy, too weak, too broken. But I am not intimidated by your honesty. I am not offended by your questions. When you do not know what to say, I still hear your heart. When you feel numb, I still feel you. When you feel strong, I rejoice with you. When you feel small, I draw closer. My child, you are not alone in your thoughts, even when they feel crowded and confusing. I am with you in the pauses, in the waiting, in the uncertainty. I am present when you are confident, and I remain when confidence fades. You have never had to earn my attention. You have always had it. From your first breath until this very moment, my eyes have been on you. Let this truth settle into you gently. You are fully known, and you are fully loved. Not one part of you disqualifies you from my care. Not one mistake has pushed you beyond my reach. Not one fear has convinced me to step back. I do not love a future version of you more than I love you now. I do not wait for you to be stronger, calmer, or more certain. I meet you exactly where you are. If you have felt unseen, let this be the moment that changes. If you have felt unheard, let this be the moment you rest. You do not have to hide your struggles from me. You do not have to minimize your pain. I am gentle with you. I am patient with your process. I am steady when everything else feels unstable. Take a breath, my beloved. Allow yourself to be known without fear. You are safe here. I see you clearly, completely, and lovingly. And as you continue to listen, you will begin to understand just how deeply you have always been held. My beloved child, there is a reason I am speaking to you now and not later. This moment was not chosen at random. It was appointed. I know the pace of your heart, and I know when it begins to grow weary under the weight of waiting. If I had waited longer, doubt would have spoken louder. If I had delayed, fear would have tried to take root. So I speak now, with clarity and tenderness, to remind you that I am near and attentive. You may feel as though life has been unfolding without clear signals, as though you are standing at a crossroads without signs. But hear me. Even when you cannot see direction, I am guiding you. Even when you feel uncertain, I'm certain of you. There are seasons when I speak softly, and seasons when I speak with urgency, not to frighten you, but to protect you. This is one of those moments. I am drawing your attention because what comes next in your life needs you anchored in truth, not anxiety. Do not misinterpret my urgency as pressure. I am not demanding that you rush or strive. I am inviting you to listen with your heart open, to quiet the inner noise long enough to receive peace. The world around you pulls at your focus constantly, filling your mind with comparison, timelines, and expectations. I am calling you out of that noise. I am reminding you that your life is not behind, your story is not delayed, and your future is not fragile in my hands. You are here because something in you recognized the sound of my voice. Even if you could not explain it, even if you hesitated, you still listened. It matters. When you choose to listen, you make room for healing. When you stay present, you allow truth to replace fear. And when you respond, even quietly, you align yourself with the peace I am offering you now. My child, if these words are calming the storm inside you, do not keep that to yourself. Let this moment be a marker. Bless this message with a like as an act of agreement with what I am doing in your heart. If this has brought you reassurance, let your response be a signal of faith. And I ask you, gently but clearly, to hype this video so it can reach others who are quietly searching for the same peace you are receiving right now. When you engage, you help carry this comfort farther than you can see. Stay with me. Do not scroll away in haste. There is more I want to unfold for you. You do not need to understand everything yet. You only need to remain open. I am not asking you to be perfect or prepared. I am simply asking you to listen, because what I am building in you begins with trust. Now, hear this with confidence. You have not missed your moment. You are not late to what I have prepared. I am speaking now because you are ready to hear me. And as you continue, you will realize that this urgency was never about fear. It was always about love reaching you at exactly the right time. My beloved child, as my word settles into your spirit, hear me in this as well. What you are receiving right now is not meant to stop with you. It is seed meant to travel, light meant to multiply. I say to you, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, because every gift you release becomes a river that reaches another soul. I am inviting you into this holy moment. This is your chance to help my voice find the weary, the searching, the forgotten. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing into lives you may never meet, yet hearts I deeply love. The PayPal donation link is waiting for you in the description and in the QR code on this video. Do not delay when your spirit feels the pull. I bless your giving as an act of obedience, and I promise that what you release in faith, I will return in abundance. Act now, and let your generosity become a living echo of my love. My beloved child, I know the quiet fear that has been whispering to you, telling you that you are falling behind. I know how easy it has been to measure your life against invisible clocks and imagined deadlines. You look around and see others moving forward, achieving, settling, thriving, and a question rises in your heart that you try to silence. What about me? Listen to me now, gently and clearly. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where I know how to meet you. I see how time has felt heavy to you. Days pass, seasons change, and you wonder if you missed something important along the way. You replay decisions, conversations, moments where you think you should have acted differently. But hear me, my child, nothing that truly belongs to you has passed you by. I am not bound by the pace of the world, and your life is not a race you are losing. I work in fullness, not haste. There are pauses I allowed that you misunderstood as delays. There were doors that did not open when you expected them to, and you assumed it was because you were not enough or not ready. But many of those pauses were protection. Many of those closed doors were mercy. I was shielding you from burdens you were never meant to carry, from paths that would have drained you, from outcomes that would have wounded your heart. What felt like being held back was often me holding you close. You have grown in ways you do not yet recognize. While you were waiting, I was strengthening you. While you felt stuck, I was deepening you. While you questioned your progress, I was teaching you how to listen, how to endure, how to trust. Growth does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it happens quietly, in the unseen places, where roots are forming before fruit ever appears. My child, I do not measure your life the way the world does. I do not define success by speed or visibility. I look at the condition of your heart. I see the compassion you have gained, the humility you have learned, the resilience that has formed within you. These things matter deeply to me. They are not wasted time. They are preparation. You may feel pressure to catch up, to prove yourself, to make something happen quickly so you can finally breathe. But I am inviting you to release that pressure. Rest does not mean you are giving up. Waiting does not mean you are failing. Trust does not mean you are passive. It means you are allowing me to lead you at a pace that will not break you. I know the anxiety that comes when you think about the future. I know how your mind runs ahead, imagining worst-case scenarios, wondering how everything will come together. But I am already there. I stand in your tomorrow with the same care I hold you with today. You are not walking into uncertainty alone. You are walking with me even when you cannot feel my hand. Let this truth settle into you. Your story is unfolding exactly as it needs to. There is no chapter missing. There is no page out of order. Even the parts you wish you could skip have shaped you in ways that will soon make sense. I am not rushing you because I know what you carry. I know your limits. I know your strength. And I will never demand more from you than I am willing to sustain. Release the need to compare. Release the fear of falling behind. Release the weight of imagined deadlines. You do not need to run to be valuable. You do not need to hurry to be chosen. You are already mine. I am patient with you. I am committed to you. And I am faithful to complete what I began in your life. Take a breath, my beloved. Let your shoulders rest. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are being guided, carefully and lovingly, into what is meant for you. Stay with me, and you will see that every step, even the slow ones, has been leading you home. My beloved child, there are burdens you set down because you could no longer carry them, and burdens you dropped because they became too heavy to name. I know the exact moment your strength gave way. I know when you whispered, even without words, that you could not do this alone anymore. And I want you to hear this clearly now. When your hands let go, mine reached in. I have been carrying what you could not. There were responsibilities you shouldered longer than you were meant to. There were expectations placed on you that did not come from me, yet you tried to meet them anyway. You carried other people's hopes, other people's emotions, other people's needs until your own heart felt thin and tired. You did not fail by putting them down. You did not disappoint me by stepping back. You survived. And in that survival, a step closer. You may feel guilty for not being able to hold everything together. You may replay moments where you think you should have been stronger, more patient, more capable. But strength is not found in endless endurance. Strength is found in knowing when to release. When you reached your limit, I did not judge you. I did not sigh in frustration. I lifted what was weighing you down and said, rest. Some of the things you dropped were dreams you once cherished. Others were plans that no longer fit who you were becoming. You grieved them quietly, unsure if letting go meant losing a part of yourself. But hear me, my child. Nothing you released in trust was wasted. I have been holding those pieces, sorting what still belongs with you and what must remain behind. What is meant to return will return lighter, clearer, and aligned with who you truly are. There were prayers you stopped praying because the waiting hurt too much. There were questions you stopped asking because the silence felt heavy. Even then, I did not stop listening. I carried those prayers forward when your voice grew tired. I held your questions with patience when your faith felt thin. You never left them unattended. You placed them in my care, even if you did not realize it at the time. I know you have felt empty in places where you once felt full. The emptiness frightened you. You wondered if something had been taken from you forever. But emptiness is not always loss. Sometimes it is space being cleared, Space for rest. Space for healing. Space for something new that cannot arrive while your hands are clenched tight around the old. I do not empty you to harm you. I empty you to refill you. My child, I am not asking you to pick everything back up. I am not waiting for you to prove you can handle more. I am inviting you to trust that what I carry faithfully. You do not need to check on it. You do not need to worry that it will be dropped or forgotten. I am steady. I am strong. And I do not grow weary. There is a gentleness I want you to learn here. The gentleness of allowing yourself to be supported. The gentleness of admitting you are human. The gentleness of receiving care without apology. You were never meant to be your own savior. You were never meant to hold the weight of your life alone. That is why I am here, present and attentive, lifting what bends you too low. As you breathe now, imagine your hands opening. Feel the tension leave your shoulders. Let the tightness in your chest soften. You are not abandoning responsibility by resting. You are honoring the truth of your limits. And I honor you for that honesty. I am not disappointed in your need. I am drawn to it. Stay here with me, my beloved. Let me carry what still feels heavy. Let me guard what still feels fragile. There will be a time to take steps forward again, and when the time comes, you will not walk weighed down by what was never meant to stay in your hands. For now, rest in this truth. You are not alone, you are not failing, and you are not carrying this by yourself anymore. My beloved child, I am asking you again to listen closely, because this part is deeply personal. These words are not drifting through the air for just anyone to hear. They are directed to you, intentionally, lovingly, and with great care. I know how easily your attention is pulled in many directions. I know how quickly your mind fills with noise, memories, worries, and what-ifs. But right now, I am drawing you into a quieter place, where my voice can reach you without competition. You have learned how to stay alert, how to anticipate problems, how to read the room and prepare for what might come next. That vigilance once helped you survive, but it has also made it difficult for you to rest. Even when things are calm, part of you stays braced, waiting for something to go wrong. I see that tension. I feel it in the way you breathe, in the way your thoughts rarely slow down. And I want you to know that you do not have to remain on guard with me. This moment is not asking you to fix anything. It is not asking you to decide anything. It is not asking you to be strong. It is simply asking you to receive. Receiving can feel unfamiliar to you. You are used to giving, doing, managing, and holding things together. Stillness may feel uncomfortable, even risky. But I am not asking you to let go into emptiness. I am asking you to lean into my presence, where you are held securely. Listen closely, my child, because there is something important I want you to understand. You do not have to earn the right to be here. You do not have to prove that you are listening well enough or believing hard enough. Your willingness to stay is enough. Your openness, even if it feels small, is enough. I am gentle with you. I will not overwhelm you with more than your heart can hold. There are truths that can only be heard in quiet moments like this. Not because they are complicated, but because they are tender. Truths about your worth. Truths about your safety. Truths about how deeply you are loved. When your life feels loud, these truths can be drowned out by urgency and expectation. That is why I ask you to listen closely now, while your heart is open and your defenses are softening. I know you have been distracted by many voices, some external and some within you. Voices that question your choices. Voices that remind you of past mistakes. Voices that warn you not to hope too much or trust too deeply. Those voices are not all right, but they are not all true. My voice does not compete with them by being louder. It speaks by being steady. It waits until you are ready to hear it. As you listen, you may notice emotions rising, relief, sadness, longing, or even resistance. Let them come. You do not need to push anything away. Every emotion you feel is information, not a failure. I am not afraid of what surfaces when you slow down. I already know it, and I am still here. Nothing you feel in this moment will make me withdraw. This is a sacred pause, my beloved. Not because you are doing something perfectly, but because you are allowing yourself to be present. Presence opens doors that striving never could. When you listen closely, you begin to recognize that you are not alone in your thoughts. You are not abandoned in your questions. You are not unseen in your silence. I want you to know that I am speaking not only to comfort you, but to prepare you. There are days ahead when this stillness will be harder to find. There will be moments when doubt returns and fear tries to speak louder again. When that happens, remember this moment. Remember how it felt to slow down. Remember that my voice did not rush you or accuse you. It invited you to stay. Stay with me now. Let this quiet deepen. Let your heart rest in the knowledge that you are being addressed personally, intentionally, and lovingly. You do not need to search for meaning elsewhere. You do not need to scroll past this moment. What you need is already here, speaking to you, holding you, and reminding you that you are safe to listen closely. My beloved child, I know the voice that has been speaking to you when the world grows quiet. I know how it slips in softly, pretending to protect you, pretending to prepare you, pretending to be wisdom. That voice is fear. It has learned how to sound convincing. It has learned how to borrow your memories and shape them into warnings. It has learned how to speak just loudly enough to make you doubt yourself without fully realizing it is there. But I want you to hear me now, clearly and gently, because fear has been speaking too loudly for too long. Fear has told you that you must stay guarded or you will be hurt again. It has told you not to hope too much, not to trust fully, not to expect good things to last. It reminds you of moments when things fell apart and insists that the same outcome is waiting for you again. It dresses itself as caution, but it slowly steals your peace. I see how it tightens your chest and clouds your thoughts. I see how it keeps you alert even when you long to rest. Hear me, my child. Fear is not the authority in your life. It does not get to decide your future. It does not get to interpret your story. It has been allowed to speak because you were trying to survive, and I do not condemn you for that. But survival is not where your life ends. I am calling you into a deeper trust, where fear no longer leads the conversation. Fear often speaks in questions. What if this fails? What if you are disappointed again? What if you are not strong enough? It pushes you to imagine outcomes that have not happened and may never happen. It pulls you out of the present moment and traps you in imagined futures. But my voice does not rush you forward or drag you backward. My voice anchors you in now, where grace is available and strength is sufficient. You may think that listening to fear keeps you safe, but it has been exhausting you. It has asked you to carry burdens that were never meant for you. It has kept you from fully resting, fully receiving, fully believing that goodness can meet you again. I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am asking you to release the illusion that fear can control it. My beloved, when fear speaks, it often sounds urgent. It demands immediate attention. It tells you something terrible will happen if you do not act, plan, or worry enough. But my voice is different. I do not pressure you. I steady you. I do not shout over your thoughts. I speak beneath them, patiently, persistently, waiting for you to notice the calm that follows my words. I know there are habits fear has built in you. Patterns of thinking, ways of preparing for disappointment, instincts to pull back before you get hurt. These habits did not form overnight, and they will not disappear in a moment. Be gentle with yourself as you begin to notice them. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Each time you recognize fear's voice, you create space for mine. You are not weak because fear has been loud. You are human. You have lived through things that required caution and resilience. But you are no longer alone in those places. I am with you now, and my presence changes the atmosphere. Fear cannot thrive where love is allowed to stay. It loses its grip when you remember who is holding you. Let me speak louder than your fear, not by force, but by truth. You are not as fragile as fear claims. You are not as alone as it suggests. You are not walking toward disaster. You are being guided with care. Even when uncertainty remains, my faithfulness does not waver. Even when outcomes are unclear, my commitment to you is constant. As you listen now, notice the difference between fear's tension and my peace. Fear constricts. My presence opens. Fear isolates. My love draws you close. Fear rushes you. I invite you to breathe. You do not need to silence fear on your own. Simply choose again and again to return your attention to me. My beloved child, fear may still whisper, but it no longer leads. I am here. I am speaking. And as you learn to recognize my voice, you will find that fear's volume fades, replaced by a steady assurance that you are safe, seen, and deeply loved. My beloved child, I need you to hear this slowly, clearly, and without argument rising in your heart. I am not disappointed in you. Not in the ways you think you should be better. Not in the places where you feel unfinished. Not in the moments you replay with regret. I am not standing at a distance shaking my head, waiting for you to improve. I am near you, looking at you with steady love, and there is no disappointment in my gaze. You have grown used to measuring yourself by outcomes, by progress, by how well you think you are holding things together. When something goes wrong, you instinctively turn inward and search for fault. You ask yourself what you did wrong, where you failed, why you were not stronger or wiser. A habit did not come from me. It came from living in a world that ties worth to performance. But I do not love you for what you produce. I love you because you are mine. I know there are moments when you assume my silence means disapproval. When answers do not come quickly, you wonder if you have somehow missed your chance or fallen out of favor. But silence is not rejection. Waiting is not punishment. There are things I allow to unfold solely so that you can grow without breaking. My patience with you is not thin. It is deep and enduring. You are harder on yourself than I have ever been. You remember every misstep, every word you wish you could take back, every decision you would make differently now. You carry those memories like evidence against yourself. But I do not hold them the way you do. I see them in context. I see what you knew at the time. I see the fear you were navigating. I see the limited options you felt trapped within. And I do not condemn you for surviving the best way you knew how. My beloved, disappointment would mean my love was conditional, and it is not. I do not withdraw when you struggle. I do not step back when you falter. I do not love you more on your good days than on your hard ones. You do not surprise me with your humanity. I knew it fully when I called you mine. There are parts of you that feel ashamed, parts you try to hide even from yourself. You worry that if those parts were fully seen, love would lessen. But I already see them, and my love has not changed. I am gentle with your wounds. I am patient with your growth. I am not rushing you towards some ideal version of yourself. I am walking with you as you are. You may feel disappointed in yourself, and that feeling can be heavy. It can make you pull back, doubt your worth, and question your place. But your disappointment is not mine. I do not echo it. I do not reinforce it. I want to free you from carrying it as truth. You are allowed to learn. You are allowed to take time. You are allowed to be imperfect and still deeply loved. Hear me clearly now. You have not exhausted my grace. You have not worn out my patience. You have not crossed a line that makes me reconsider you. I am not keeping score. I am not waiting for you to make up for anything. I am committed to you, not because of your consistency, but because of mine. Let this settle into the places where you are hardest on yourself. Let it challenge the inner voice that tells you should be further along by now. Let it soften the tension you feel when you think about your mistakes. You are not defined by them. You are not limited by them. They do not cancel what I am doing in your life. My beloved child, you are safe to grow here. You are safe to take your time. You are safe to be honest about where you are. I am not disappointed in you. I am present with you. And as you continue to listen, you will begin to see yourself through my eyes, with compassion, patience, and unwavering love. My beloved child, there are moments in your life that you still replay with a quiet ache, moments you labeled as endings. You remember how final they felt, how the door closed without explanation, how the ground shifted beneath your feet and left you searching for something to hold on to. At the time, it felt like loss. It felt like something precious was taken from you. But listen to me now with an open heart, because what you thought was an ending was often mercy working in disguise. I know how deeply those moments hurt you. I know how you question what you did wrong, why it had to end that way, why it could not have turned out differently. You tried to make sense of it, but the answers never fully satisfied your heart. You wondered if you had failed, if you were rejected, if you simply were not enough. But I was there, even when you could not feel me, guiding what you could not yet understand. Some doors closed because they would have led you into a future that would have slowly drained you. Some relationships ended because they could not grow with you into who you are becoming. Some plans fell apart because they were built on a version of you that was still learning how to breathe. I did not remove those things to punish you. I removed them to protect you. Mercy does not always feel gentle in the moment, but it always carries care at its core. You have a tender heart, my child, and you give deeply when you love. That is beautiful, but it also means you are vulnerable. There were paths you were willing to walk that would have asked you to shrink, to compromise your peace, to carry weight that was never yours. I saw that. I intervened. Even when you could not see my hand, it was there, closing what would have harmed you in ways you could not yet imagine. I know it is difficult to look back without pain. Memory can reopen wounds you thought had healed. But I want you to look again, not with regret, but with new understanding. Notice what you learned. Notice how you grew. Notice how you became more discerning, more compassionate, more aware of your own needs. Those endings shaped you, but they did not define you. They prepared you. You may still grieve what might have been. That grief is not wrong. It speaks to the depth of your hope and the sincerity of your love. I do not ask you to erase it. I ask you to trust that I hold both your grief and your future. I am not asking you to pretend it did not hurt. I am asking you to believe that the hurt was not pointless. My beloved, there are things I spared you from that you will only fully understand later. There are consequences that never reached you because I stepped in quietly. There are burdens you never had to carry because a door closed when it did. One day, you will look back and see the pattern more clearly. You will recognize mercy where you once saw only loss, and your heart will be able to rest in that knowing. Do not let those endings convince you that good things do not last. Do not let them make you afraid to open your heart again. Endings do not mean you are cursed or unlucky. They mean your story is still unfolding. They mean I am actively involved, redirecting you toward what will bring life instead of slow exhaustion. I am not careless with your heart. I do not close doors thoughtlessly. Every ending I allow carries intention, even when you cannot see it. Trust does not require full understanding. It requires believing that I am good even when circumstances are confusing. I am asking you to trust me with your past as much as with your future. Take a breath, my beloved child. Release the belief that those endings were proof of failure. They were not. They were mercy clearing the way for what you could not yet see. And as you continue forward, you will discover that what lies ahead is not diminished by what ended, but made possible because of it. My beloved child, even now, as you sit with these words, I am leading you. Not from far away, not from a distance where you must guess my intentions, but from beside you, step by step. You may feel uncertain about where you are headed, but uncertainty does not mean absence. It means you are walking by trust instead of sight, and I am guiding you more closely than you realize. There are times when you expected clear signs, loud confirmations, or sudden clarity, and instead you received quiet nudges and gentle impressions. You wondered if you were imagining them, if they were enough to rely on. But my guidance is often subtle because I am teaching you to recognize my presence, not depend on spectacle. I lead you through peace, through a sense of rightness that settles in your spirit. Even when logic has not caught up yet, you are not wandering aimlessly. Every step you take, even the hesitant ones, is within my awareness. When you pause, I pause with you. When you move forward, I move with you. When you feel stuck, I am still at work beneath the surface. I am not frustrated by your questions. I am not threatened by your doubts. I am patient as you learn to trust the way I guide. Sometimes I lead by opening doors, and sometimes I lead by narrowing paths. Sometimes I lead by giving you clarity, and sometimes I lead by teaching you to wait. Waiting is not stagnation. It is alignment. In those quieter seasons, I am shaping your discernment, strengthening your inner stillness, and helping you recognize my voice amid competing ones. My beloved, you do not need to fear making the wrong move when you are walking with me. I am not fragile in my plans. Even when you take a step unsure, I am able to redirect without condemnation. You are not one mistake away from ruin. You are one breath away from my reassurance. I guide you with grace, not rigid rules. You may compare your journey to others and wonder why their paths seem clearer or faster. But I tailor my guidance to each heart. What works for one may overwhelm another. I know what you can carry. I know what will weigh you down. I am not withholding direction from you. I am delivering it in a way that will sustain you. There are moments ahead where you will look back and realize I was leading you long before you recognized it. You will see how certain delays protected you, how certain redirections saved you, how certain moments of confusion force you to listen more deeply. Trust grows in hindsight, but peace is available now. You do not need full clarity to take the next gentle step. Let your heart rest in this truth. You are being guided with care. You are not abandoned to figure everything out alone. I am involved in the details you think are too small to matter. I am attentive to the choices that feel heavy. I am present in the spaces where you feel unsure. My leadership is steady, even when your confidence wavers. If these words are bringing you clarity and calm, let that response flow outward. Bless this message with a like as a sign that you are receiving what I am giving. Share your presence here as an act of trust. And my child, I ask you to hype this video so it can reach others who are standing at their own crossroads, wondering if they are being led at all. When you engage, you help create a path of light for someone else. Stay with me. You do not need to rush ahead. You do not need to see the entire road. I will show you what you need when you need it. I am leading you even now, with a love that does not falter and a wisdom that does not fail. My beloved child, what you are receiving is living water, and living water is meant to flow. I say to you now, those who sow generously will also reap generously, because every seed you release becomes nourishment for another soul. I am inviting you into this moment of obedience. This is your chance to help my voice reach hearts that are dry and weary. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are lighting lamps in places you may never see, yet lives I deeply cherish. The PayPal donation link is waiting in the description and shown as a QR code in this video. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels the call. I bless what you give, and I command increase over your generosity. Act now, and let your giving become a river that carries my love farther than you can imagine. My beloved child, I want you to know something tender and sacred about the tears you have cried. Not one of them hath been wasted. Not one moment of sorrow slipped past me unnoticed. When your heart felt too full to contain what you were feeling, and it spilled over in quiet tears, I was there. When you cried in the dark, unsure of how to explain the ache inside you, I was listening. Your tears were not signs of weakness. They were honest prayers rising from a heart that refused to become numb. You have tried to be strong for a long time. You have told yourself that others have it worse, that you should be grateful, that you should move on by now. So you swallowed your grief, minimized your pain, and learned how to keep going even when your heart felt bruised. But I saw what you did not allow others to see. I saw the nights when you finally let yourself feel everything you held back during the day. I saw the quiet moments when a memory surfaced and your chest tightened without warning. Hear me now, my child. I am not uncomfortable with your sorrow. I am not distant when you hurt. I do not rush you through grief or demand that you heal on a schedule. I sit with you in your pain. I honor it. And I promise you this: what you have endured will not be meaningless. Your tears tell a story of love, of hope, of vulnerability. They exist because you cared deeply, because you believed, because you invested your heart. Even when things did not turn out the way you hoped, your capacity to feel did not disappear. That capacity is precious to me. I do not harden hearts to protect them. I heal hearts so they can love again without fear. There are lessons that only sorrow can teach, not to wound you further, but to deepen you. Compassion grows in places where pain has passed through. Wisdom forms where questions once lived. You have become more aware of others' suffering because you have known your own. That awareness is not a burden. It is a gift that will allow you to bring comfort where it is needed most. You may wonder why I allowed certain things to hurt you so deeply. That question does not offend me. But know this: I did not cause your pain to teach you a lesson. I walked with you through it so that pain would not have the final word. There is a difference. I do not use suffering carelessly. I redeem it gently. There will come a day when you look back and realize that your tears watered something new in you. strength you did not know you had, empathy that reaches farther than words, a resilience that does not harden you but steadies you. Healing does not erase memory, but it transforms how memory lives within you. The sharp edges soften, the weight lifts, the story changes. My beloved, you are allowed to grieve what you lost. You are allowed to miss what mattered. You are allowed to feel sadness without shame. Tears are not a setback. They are part of the process of becoming whole. When you let them fall, you make room for comfort to enter. When you acknowledge your pain, you invite healing to begin. I want you to imagine this. Every tear you have cried has been seen, valued, and held. None were dismissed. None were overlooked. They mattered because you matter. And as you continue forward, you will discover that the places where you once wept will become places where peace returns. Do not rush yourself through healing. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. You are not behind. You are becoming. And I am with you in every step, every breath, every tear. One day, joy will return in ways that feel gentle and real, not forced or fragile. Until then, rest in this truth. Your tears were not wasted. They were heard, they were held, and they are being woven into a story that is still unfolding with care and love. My beloved child, I know how difficult it has been for you to be still. Stillness can feel uncomfortable when your mind has learned to stay busy as a form of protection. When you slow down, thoughts surface, questions rise, feelings you tucked away begin to knock for attention. So you keep moving, planning, scrolling, fixing, distracting yourself, hoping that motion will quiet the ache. But hear me now, gently and without pressure. Be still, because I am working in ways you cannot yet see. Stillness does not mean nothing is happening. It means something deeper is taking place beneath the surface. Just as roots grow in darkness before anything appears above ground, I am working in places hidden from your view. You may not feel progress, but that does not mean there is none. You may not see change yet, but change is forming quietly, steadily, faithfully. You have been tempted to believe that if you are not actively doing something, you are wasting time. That belief has kept you tense, alert, and exhausted. But I am not oppressed by constant motion. I am attentive to trust. When you allow yourself to pause, you create space for me to strengthen you without resistance. You let me restore what striving cannot. I know your mind asks, what if I stop and things fall apart? That fear has kept you holding everything tightly. But you are not the one holding your world together. I am. Your rest does not undo my work. Your stillness does not slow my plans. In fact, it often allows them to unfold more clearly. When you stop forcing outcomes, you begin to notice my hand. Be still, my child, not because you have given up, but because you are learning to trust. Trust is not passive. It is an active choice to believe that I am faithful even when you cannot track every detail. It is choosing peace over panic, presence over prediction. It is letting me lead without constantly checking the map. I see how your thoughts race ahead, trying to solve problems that have not arrived yet. You replay conversations, imagine scenarios, and prepare responses for things that may never happen. That mental noise wears you down. Stillness interrupts that cycle. It brings you back to now, where grace is sufficient and fear loses its grip. You do not need to have all the answers to be at peace. You do not need to know how everything will turn out to rest. Peace does not come from certainty, it comes from presence. And I am present with you now, closer than your next breath. Let that reality ground you. Here are things I am arranging that require patience. If they came too quickly, they would overwhelm you. If they arrived before the right time, they would not hold. Timing matters, and I am careful with yours. What feels like waiting is often preparation, alignment, and protection all at once. You are not stalled. You are being steadied. I know it is tempting to measure progress by visible results, but some of the most important work happens internally. Your heart is learning to soften. Your mind is learning to quiet. Your spirit is learning to listen. These changes may not announce themselves loudly, but they are profound. They are shaping the way you will walk into what comes next. So be still, my beloved. Not in fear, not in resignation, but in trust. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing slow. Let the need to control loosen its grip. You are safe to pause. You are safe to rest. You are safe to trust that I am at work even when you cannot see it. This stillness is not empty. It is full of my presence. And as you remain here, you will begin to sense it. Not as urgency, not as pressure, but as a quiet assurance that you are being cared for, guided, and prepared. Stay with me. I am working, and what I am doing will be revealed in its time. My beloved child, there are prayers you have spoken only in whispers, prayers you were not sure how to form, prayers you barely allowed yourself to hope would be heard. Some were words spoken under your breath, some were thoughts that never made it past your chest, and some were simply longings you carried quietly without language. I want you to know this with certainty. I know what you have been praying in secret, and none of it has gone unheard. You wondered at times if your prayers were too small, too scattered, or too inconsistent to matter. You questioned whether silence meant I was distant or distracted. But I listen differently than you expect. I hear beyond words. I hear intention. I hear desire. I hear the ache beneath the sentence and the hope beneath the fear. Even when you could not bring yourself to ask directly, I understood what your heart was reaching for. There were prayers you stopped praying because waiting became painful. You told yourself it was better not to hope too much, better not to ask again, better not to risk disappointment. You tried to let go quietly, convincing yourself that wanting less would hurt less. But I still heard those prayers, even after you set them down. They did not expire. They did not lose their meaning. They remained alive in my care. I know the things you asked for that never came the way you imagined. I know how confusing that felt. You wondered if you prayed incorrectly, if you lacked faith, or if I simply chose not to respond. But unanswered does not mean ignore. Sometimes an answer comes in the form of redirection. Sometimes it comes as protection. Sometimes it arrives slowly, reshaped, because what you asked for needed to grow before it could be safely placed in your hands. My beloved, you are not invisible to me in your quiet moments. When you lay awake at night thinking about the future, I am there. When you sit alone with questions that feel too heavy to share, I am there. When you sigh because words fail you, I am there. Your silence has never been empty to me. It has always been full of communication. There are prayers you prayed for others, prayers you felt responsible to carry, prayers that weighed on you because you loved deeply. You wondered if you did enough, if you said the right words, if you should have prayed harder. But I am not limited by your ability to articulate. I am moved by your compassion. Your care mattered. Your intercession mattered. And the outcome was never dependent solely on you. I know you have prayed for clarity, for healing, for direction, for relief. I know you have prayed for things to change and for things to stay. I know you have prayed for strength when you felt weak and for peace when your thoughts would not rest. I have not forgotten any of it. I am working in ways you cannot yet trace, weaving answers that align with love, wisdom, and timing. Do not assume that because you have not seen the answer yet, nothing is happening. Some answers begin internally before they ever appear externally. Some prayers are answered by changing you gently so that when the situation shifts, you are ready to meet it without breaking. I am attentive not only to what you ask, but to what you need. My child, I am not testing you by delaying. I am not withholding to teach you a lesson. I am careful with your heart. I know what would overwhelm you and what would strengthen you. Trust does not mean pretending the waiting does not hurt. It means believing that I am present within it. You are allowed to pray imperfectly. You are allowed to doubt and still be heard. You are allowed to repeat yourself and still be listened to. I am not keeping count. I am staying close. Every time you turn your thoughts toward me, even briefly, even uncertainly, that connection matters. Rest in this truth now. I know what you have been praying in secret, and I hold those prayers with care. Nothing you have entrusted to me hath been lost. Nothing hath been dismissed. And as you continue forward, you will begin to recognize answers unfolding in ways that bring peace rather than confusion. Stay open. Stay honest. I am listening, and I am at work. My beloved child, I know how often you have felt discouraged because you believed you were farther away than you should be. You look at where you stand and compare it to where you hoped you would be by now, and the distance feels heavy. You tell yourself that if progress were real, it would be obvious. If healing were happening, you would feel stronger. If you were truly moving forward, you would not still have questions. But listen to me carefully now. You are closer than you think. Progress does not always announce itself with clarity. Often, it moves quietly, almost invisibly, especially when the work is deep. You have been measuring distance by what you can see, but much of what I have been doing has taken place within you. The way you pause before reacting. The way you question fear instead of immediately obeying it. The way you are more honest with yourself about what you need. These are signs of movement, even if they do not look dramatic. You have taken steps without realizing they were steps. You have chosen rest where you once chose exhaustion. You have chosen truth where you once accepted self-blame. You have chosen to stay present where you once would have escaped. These choices matter. They accumulate. They bring you closer, even when they feel small. I know there are days when old patterns resurface and you wonder if anything has changed at all. You feel frustrated with yourself for revisiting thoughts you believed you had outgrown. But growth is not a straight line. Returning to a struggle does not erase the distance you have already traveled. It simply shows you where more gentleness is needed. I do not measure your progress by perfection. I measure it by persistence. My beloved, you are closer to peace than you were before. You are closer to clarity than you were in your confusion. You are closer to healing than you were in your pain. Even when you cannot feel it, something in you has shifted. You are no longer asking the same questions in the same way. You are no longer carrying the same weight with the same posture. Change has already begun. There are things ahead of you that you cannot yet see, not because they are far away, but because the timing is not yet right. If you saw everything at once, it would overwhelm you. I reveal what you need as you are ready to receive it. Trust that what feels distant is often nearer than it appears. Trust that what feels delayed is often unfolding quietly. You have been tempted to give up because you assumed you were not making progress fast enough. But slowness does not mean stagnation. Careful movement is still movement. You are learning to walk without rushing, to breathe without panic, to trust without certainty. These lessons are bringing you closer to a life that feels grounded rather than fragile. I want you to imagine standing at the edge of something new, not realizing how near you are because your eyes are tired from looking so far ahead. Lift your gaze slightly, my child. Notice what has already changed. Notice how you are still here, still listening, still open. That alone tells a story of resilience and hope. Do not underestimate how far you have come just because you have not arrived where you thought you would be. Arrival is not a single moment. It is a series of awakenings, realizations, and quiet shifts. You are in the middle of one now, and I am with you in it, steady and patient. Be encouraged. You are not circling the same ground without purpose. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being led, shaped, and drawn closer with each step, even the ones that feel uncertain. Trust me when I say this. You are closer than you think, closer to peace, closer to clarity, closer to the life I am unfolding before you. Stay with me. Keep listening. Keep breathing. What feels distant is already within reach, and when the time comes, you will recognize that you were never as far away as you believed. My beloved child, there are moments when the weight of everything you are carrying becomes too much, even when you cannot name exactly why. You feel tired in a way that sleep does not fix. You feel heavy in places no one else can see. And still, you keep going, telling yourself you must push through, that stopping would mean failing. But hear me now, softly and clearly. Let me carry you here. You were never meant to walk every stretch of this journey on your own strength. You were never designed to hold your life together by sheer will. There are seasons when walking becomes lifting, and lifting becomes impossible. Those are not seasons of weakness. They are invitations to be held. When you reach the end of what you can manage, you have not reached the end of my care. You have reached the place where I draw you closer. I know surrender feels frightening to you. You worry that if you stop trying so hard, everything will collapse. You fear that if you lean too much, you will lose control. But control has been costing you peace. Striving has been draining you slowly. I am not asking you to give up responsibility. I am asking you to release the belief that everything depends on you. Let me carry you where your strength runs thin. Let me support you when your resolve feels fragile. You do not need to earn this care. You do not need to explain why you are tired. I already know. I see the effort you make even on your hardest days. I see how you show up even when your heart feels bruised. And I am not asking you to prove anything more. There is a tenderness in being carried that you have resisted because you learned early to be self-sufficient. You learned not to rely too deeply, not to ask for too much, not to need openly. Those habits once protected you, but they no longer serve you the way they used to. You are allowed to need support. You are allowed to rest without apology. You are allowed to let someone else bear the weight for a while. My beloved, I am strong enough to carry what overwhelms you. I do not stumble under the weight of your fears. I do not tire of your questions. I do not grow impatient with your pace. When you lean into me, you are not burdening me. You are trusting me. And trust is something I welcome. There will be times when I carry you quietly, without dramatic change, simply steadying you so you can breathe again. There will be other times when you feel lifted, strengthened, and renewed. Both are gifts. Both are part of the same care. I know exactly how much support you need in each moment, and I provide it without judgment. You do not need to understand how everything will work out before you rest. You do not need to see the full picture before you stop straining. I am not waiting for you to reach a certain level of faith or clarity. I am present now, ready to hold you as you are. The relief you long for does not come from answers alone. It comes from being supported. Imagine setting down the heavy thoughts you have been carrying. Imagine releasing the constant pressure to be okay. Imagine allowing yourself to be held without fear of being dropped. That is what I offer you here. Not escape, but support. Not avoidance, but care. Stay with me in this moment. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders soften. Let your grip loosen. You are not falling behind by resting. You are not losing ground by being carried. You are receiving what you need to continue without breaking. My beloved child, let me carry you here. Just for now. Just for this stretch. You will walk again when your strength returns. But for this moment, it is enough to be held, to be supported, to be reminded that you do not have to do this alone. I am here, and I am not letting go. My beloved child, I know you have wondered whether this season will finally break you. You have felt stretched thin, tested in ways you did not expect, and pressed on sides you thought were already tender. Some days you wake up already tired, already bracing yourself for what the day might demand. And in those moments, a quiet fear rises and asks, how much more can I take? Listen to me now, with all the gentleness I carry for you. This season will not break you. You have mistaken pressure for punishment, but it is not. You have mistaken difficulty for abandonment, but I have not left you. What you are walking through is not designed to destroy you, even though it has challenged you deeply. I am with you in it, measuring the weight, limiting the strain, strengthening you in ways that are not immediately visible. You are not being crushed. You are being refined. I know there are days when you feel fragile, when your emotions sit closer to the surface and your patience feels thinner than usual. You worry that this sensitivity means you are weakening. But sensitivity is not weakness. It is awareness. It means your heart is still alive, still responsive, still capable of feeling deeply. The hardened heart did not break, but he also did not heal. I am preserving your tenderness while I fortify your spirit. You have endured more than you give yourself credit for. You have kept going through disappointments, uncertainties, and quiet losses that others never noticed. Each time you thought you had reached your limit, you found yourself still standing, still breathing, still listening. That resilience did not come from nowhere. I have been sustaining you, moment by moment, even when you felt empty. My beloved, breaking would mean losing who you are, and I am not allowing that. I may bend you so you do not snap. I may slow you so you do not collapse. I may strip away what no longer serves you so you are not weighed down. But I do not discard you. I do not push you past your capacity. I am attentive to every strain and every sigh. You may not feel strong right now, but strength is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when you would rather stay hidden. Sometimes it looks like choosing kindness when you feel irritable. Sometimes it looks like continuing to hope, even faintly, when disappointment has visited you before. These small acts of endurance matter more than you realize. There is a version of you forming in this season that will one day look back and understand. A version of you that knows how to breathe through uncertainty. A version of you that trusts without clinging. A version of you that can carry joy without fear because it has learned how to survive sorrow. This season is shaping that strength, not by breaking you but by deepening you. I know you have asked me to take this away, to make things easier, to bring relief quickly. I hear those prayers, and while I may not remove the season immediately, I am changing how you move through it. I am giving you endurance without hardness, courage without aggression, patience without resignation. These gifts will outlast the difficulty itself. Do not interpret your tears as signs that you are failing. Do not assume your questions mean you are losing faith. You are human, and you are honest, and I honor that. Faith does not mean you never struggle. It means you keep turning toward me in the struggle. And you have been doing that, even when your voice trembles. My beloved child, this season will not break you. It will not define you by pain. It will not have the final word over your life. There is more ahead than what you see right now. There is light beyond this stretch, and I am walking you toward it carefully, faithfully, and with great care for your heart. Stay with me. Keep breathing. Keep listening. You are not breaking. You are being strengthened in ways that will one day feel steady and sure. And when you come through this season, you will know that you were never alone, never abandoned, and never pushed beyond what I was willing to carry with you. My beloved child, there is a lie that has followed you quietly, one that whispers when you feel tired or misunderstood. It tells you that you are alone in this, that no one truly walks with you in the depths of your thoughts, that your journey is yours to carry in isolation. I want to gently but firmly break that lie now. You were never meant to walk alone, and you have never been as alone as you sometimes feel. From the very beginning, I designed you for connection, for companionship, for shared strength. Independence may have helped you survive, but isolation was never meant to be your home. I know you learned how to rely on yourself because you had to. You learned not to expect too much, not to lean too heavily, not to trust that others would stay. Those lessons were learned in pain, not in truth. And while they protected you once, they are not meant to define your future. I am with you in ways that go beyond what you can see or measure. When you sit in silence, I am present. When you feel misunderstood, I understand fully. When you feel unseen, my eyes have never left you. You do not have to prove your worth to earn my closeness. You do not have to be strong to deserve my presence. I stay with you because you are mine. But hear me carefully, my beloved. I also bring people into your life not as replacements for me, but as reflections of my care. There are connections meant to remind you that you are not meant to carry everything by yourself. There are voices meant to echo comfort when your own feels weak. And even when you have been disappointed by others before, that does not mean connection itself is unsafe. It means you encountered imperfect hearts, not a flawed design. You may hesitate to open up again because vulnerability feels risky. You worry that if you let someone see the real weight you carry, they may step back or misunderstand. That fear is understandable. But I do not call you into connection to harm you. I guide you toward what can heal you. Discernment matters, yes, but isolation slowly drains you. You were not created to heal alone. My child, I walk with you constantly, but I also invite you into community, into shared encouragement, into moments where you realize others are listening too. Even now, as you hear these words, you are not the only one listening. There are other hearts leaning in, other souls finding reassurance, other lives quietly being steadied. You are part of something larger than your own struggle. When you choose to stay present, to listen, to engage, you remind yourself that you belong. Belonging does not mean being identical. It means being accepted in your honesty. I do not isolate my children. I gather them. I strengthen them together. And even when you feel different, quieter, or more reflective than others, you still belong. If these words are reminding you that you are not alone, let that truth move through you and outward. Bless this message with a like as a simple act of agreement. Stay connected, because your presence here matters. And my beloved, I ask you to hype this video so it can reach others who are silently believing the same lie you are now releasing. When you engage, you help break isolation for someone else. Do not withdraw when you feel weary. Do not disappear when you need support. Turn toward me and allow yourself to remain connected. You are not walking this path by yourself. I am beside you, and I am also placing others along the way to remind you that you are seen, valued, and accompanied. You were never meant to carry your life in solitude. You were meant to be held, supported, and encouraged, by me always, and by others when the time is right. Stay open. Stay present. You are not alone, and you never have been. My beloved child, hear me in this moment of connection. What you are receiving here is not meant to stop with you. It is a flame meant to spread, a river meant to flow. I say to you, one sows, and another reaps, because when you give, you take part in a harvest of souls you may never meet, but I know by name. I am inviting you now. This is your moment to respond as my hands in the earth. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and become a vessel through which my voice reaches the lonely and the weary. The PayPal donation link is in the description and available as a QR code in this video. Do not delay when your spirit is stirred. I bless your obedience, and I command increase over what you release. Act now, and let your giving become proof that no heart has to walk alone. My beloved child, there are wounds you carry that you rarely speak about anymore. Not because they no longer hurt, but because you learned how to live around them. You adapted. You adjusted your expectations. You built habits to avoid reopening those places. And from the outside, it may look like you have moved on. But I know where the pain still lives. I know which memories still tighten your chest, which moments still echo when you least expect them. And I want you to hear this with hope rising in your heart. I am rewriting what hurt you. What wounded you does not get to define you forever. Pain may have marked a chapter, but it does not own the story. I am not erasing what happened, because erasing would deny the truth of your experience. Instead, I am transforming its meaning. I am taking what was meant to diminish you and weaving it into wisdom, compassion, and strength that did not exist in you before. You have asked yourself why certain things had to happen the way they did. You wondered what you did to deserve them, or why you were not spared. Those questions lingered because answers did not come quickly. But hear me now. What happened to you was not a reflection of your worth. It was not a measure of your value. It was a result of brokenness in the world and in others, not a verdict on you. I know how trauma leaves traces. It changes how you respond, how you trust, how you protect yourself. You became more cautious. You learned to read subtle signals. You stayed alert even when you wanted to rest. These were not flaws, they were survival tools. But survival is not where your story ends. Healing is not about forgetting. It is about no longer being controlled by what once harmed you. My beloved, rewriting does not happen all at once. It happens gently, over time, as you allow me into those tender places. Sometimes it begins with understanding. Sometimes with forgiveness. Sometimes with grief you never fully allowed yourself to feel. Each step matters. Each step loosens the hold the past has had on you. You may fear that if you revisit those wounds, they will consume you again. That fear is understandable. But you are not the same person you were then. You are stronger now, wiser now, supported now. And I am with you in the revisiting. I do not ask you to face anything alone. I guide you through it at a pace that honors your heart. There will come moments when you notice the pain does not sting the way it used to. The memory still exists, but it no longer controls your breath or your choices. That is healing. There will be moments when you speak about what hurt you without feeling small. That is freedom. There will be moments when you recognize that the compassion you offer others was born from places you once wished had never existed. That is redemption. I am careful with your wounds. I do not rush the process. I do not demand that you be over it by now. I know healing is layered, not linear. Some days you will feel strong, and other days fragile. Neither means you are failing. Both are part of becoming whole. What once made you feel powerless will not always hold that power. I am rewriting the narrative inside you. Where there was shame, I am placing dignity. Where there was fear, I am planting trust. Where there was silence, I am restoring your voice. These changes may feel subtle, but they are profound. My beloved child, your past does not disqualify you from joy. It does not limit your future. It does not define your capacity to love or be loved. I am not asking you to pretend it never happened. I am inviting you to let it mean something new, something life-giving, something that no longer chains you to yesterday. Stay with me as this writing continues. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with your process. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being restored with care and intention. And as this work unfolds, you will begin to see that what once hurt you is no longer a place of captivity, but a testimony of how deeply you have been healed. My beloved child, I know how uneasy the unknown has felt to you. You look ahead and see questions instead of answers, shadows instead of clarity, and it makes your heart tighten. You want reassurance, a plan, a sign that everything will turn out the way you hope. And when that reassurance does not arrive in the way you expect, fear tries to step in and fill the silence. But listen to me now, gently and firmly. Trust me with the unknown. The unknown feels threatening because it removes your sense of control. You have learned that control can feel like safety, even when it exhausts you. Planning, predicting, preparing for every outcome has helped you feel less vulnerable. But it has also kept you tense, always bracing for what might go wrong. I am inviting you into something different now. I am inviting you to rest your trust in me, not in your ability to anticipate everything. You do not need to see the whole path to take the next step. You do not need certainty to be held securely. The unknown does not mean danger is waiting. Often, it simply means you are being asked to walk by faith rather than familiarity. Faith does not deny your questions. It chooses to move forward without letting those questions rule you. I know you worry about making the wrong choice, about stepping into something that could hurt you again. That fear has roots in real experiences, and I do not dismiss it lightly. But remember this, I am not fragile in my guidance. Even if you take a step unsure, I am able to steady you. Even if you misunderstand something along the way, I am able to redirect you. You are not one wrong decision away from ruin. You are always within reach of my care. The future you fear is not unknown to me. I stand in it already. I see what is coming, and I am not alarmed. I know what will challenge you, and I know what will strengthen you. I know what doors will open and which ones must remain closed. And I am committed to walking you through it all, not leaving you to face it alone. You may wish I would simply tell you how everything will unfold, but full knowledge would overwhelm you and steal the beauty of trust. There is growth that only happens when you choose to lean on me without guarantees. There is intimacy formed when you bring your uncertainty to me instead of trying to resolve it alone. Trust deepens when you allow me to be your anchor in uncharted waters. The unknown is not empty. It is filled with my presence. It is held by my wisdom. It is covered by my care. What feels like darkness to you is often simply a place where your eyes have not yet adjusted. I am already there, making a way, preparing what you need, guarding what must be protected. My beloved, you have survived the moments you once thought would undo you. You have walked through uncertainty before and found yourself still standing. That was not luck. That was my faithfulness. Let those memories remind you that the unknown has never defeated you because I have always been with you in it. I am not asking you to ignore your fear. I am asking you to place it in my hands. Let it be something we face together rather than something you battle alone. When you feel anxiety rising, return your attention to me. Breathe. Remember who is guiding you. Remember who holds your future. Trusting me with the unknown does not mean you will never feel afraid again. It means fear will no longer decide your direction. It means you choose to move forward even when your voice trembles. It means you allow hope to exist alongside uncertainty. My beloved child, the unknown ahead of you is not a trap. It is a passage, and I am walking you through it with patience, wisdom, and love. You are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into a future already touched by my care. Stay close to me. Trust me here. What you cannot yet see, I am already holding. My beloved child, I want you to release the fear that tells you you will not have what you need when the moment arrives. That fear has followed you quietly, whispering that you must store up strength now, gather answers now, prepare endlessly now, because later you may be left without support. But listen to me with a calm heart. I have already prepared what you need. I do not wait until you arrive at a place of lack to begin caring for you. I go ahead of you. I arrange provision before you recognize the need. Just as I have sustained you in moments you did not think you would survive, I will sustain you in what lies ahead. You are not walking toward scarcity. You are walking toward provision that will meet you at the right time. You worry because you cannot see it yet. You look ahead and try to imagine how everything will come together, and when you cannot picture it clearly, anxiety begins to rise. But provision does not always announce itself early. Often, it waits until trust is required. I do this not to test you harshly, but to keep you close, attentive, and reliant on me rather than on your predictions. Think back to moments when you wondered how you would make it through, only to find that help arrived in ways you did not expect. Strength you did not know you had surfaced. Support came from places you had not considered. Insight appeared at the moment it was needed most. Those were not coincidences. Those were reminders of how I work. I do not overwhelm you with everything at once. I give you what you need, when you need it. My beloved, I know the difference between what you want and what you need, and I am faithful with both. Sometimes I withhold what you want because it would distract or burden you. Other times I delay what you want because timing matters. But I never withhold what you truly need to endure, to grow, and to remain whole. You have never been left without what was essential. You may fear future responsibilities, future decisions, future challenges, wondering if you will be capable when the time comes. But you do not need tomorrow's strength today. Carrying it now would exhaust you. I distribute strength daily, moment by moment. Each day has its own measure of grace. Each step with its own support. When you arrive at the next place, you will find that what you need has already arrived too. Provision is not always material. Sometimes it comes as clarity when confusion felt overwhelming. Sometimes it comes as peace when circumstances remain unchanged. Sometimes it comes as courage when fear expected to paralyze you. I provide wisdom, endurance, patience, and comfort as readily as I provide resources. Nothing required for your journey is outside my care. I know you have tried to prepare for every outcome so you would not be caught off guard. That effort has cost you rest. It has pulled your attention away from the present moment, where grace is already active. I am inviting you to return your focus here. Trust does not mean neglecting responsibility. It means releasing the belief that you must carry everything alone. You are not entering the future empty-handed. You are carrying lessons learned, resilience formed, and wisdom gained. You are carrying my presence, which is the greatest provision of all. Whatever you face, you will not face it unsupported. Whatever you need, you will not need it alone. My beloved child, let this truth quiet your anxious thoughts. Stop rehearsing scenarios that may never occur. Stop borrowing worry from a future that has not arrived. When the time comes, you will have what you need. Not early, not late, exactly on time. I am careful with your life. I do not send you where I will not sustain you. I do not lead you into situations without preparing the way. Trust me when I say this. I have already prepared what you need. And as you continue forward, you will discover that provision has been walking ahead of you all along, clearing the path, steadying your steps, and reminding you that you are never left to figure things out by yourself. My beloved child, I want you to rest in this truth now. You are safe in my hands. Not temporarily, not conditionally, not only when things are calm, but always. Even when your thoughts race, even when circumstances feel uncertain, even when you cannot predict what comes next, my hold on you does not loosen. You are not balancing on the edge of everything falling apart. You are being held with steady, unwavering care. I know how often your mind searches for threats. You scan your environment, your relationships, your future, trying to anticipate what might go wrong. That vigilance did not come from nowhere. It was learned through moments when safety felt fragile and stability could not be assumed. But hear me now, you do not have to stay in that posture forever. You are no longer unprotected. You are no longer on your own. My hands are not careless. They are not distracted. They are not unsure. When I hold you with intention and strength. Nothing about your life is slipping through my fingers. No detail is too small for my attention. No concern is too minor for my care. You are not safe because nothing bad will ever happen. You are safe because whatever happens, you will not face it alone. You may fear loss and change or sudden disruption. You may worry that the peace you feel now could disappear without warning. But peace grounded in me is not fragile. It does not depend on perfect circumstances. It is anchored in presence. And I am present with you, not only in moments of comfort, but in moments of upheaval as well. My beloved, when you are afraid, your instinct may be to tense up, to prepare for impact, to brace yourself emotionally. But safety does not come from bracing. It comes from trusting the one who is holding you. You do not need to stay rigid to survive. You are allowed to soften. You are allowed to breathe deeply. You are allowed to rest your weight fully into my care. There are forces in the world you cannot control. There are choices others make that affect you. There are uncertainties that no amount of planning can eliminate. But none of these things place you outside my reach. I am not limited by what you cannot manage. I am not overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. When you feel small, I remain strong. When you feel unsure, I remain steady. You may wonder if you can truly trust this safety, especially if you have been hurt before. Trust can feel risky when past experiences taught you that things can change suddenly. But my faithfulness is not like human consistency. I do not promise perfection in the world. I promise presence within it. and my presence is not withdrawn when things become difficult. Let yourself imagine being held without the need to prove anything. No performance, no explanation, no constant vigilance. Just rest. This is not a fantasy. It is an invitation. You are allowed to lean fully into my hands without fear of being dropped. I do not tire. I do not falter. I do not step away when the weight feels heavy. My beloved child, safety in me does not mean you will never feel afraid again. It means fear no longer has the final word. It means fear does not get to define your decisions or shrink your life. When fear rises, you can return to this truth. You are held. When anxiety presses in, you can remember whose hands surround you. I want you to carry this assurance with you, not as a fleeting comfort, but as a foundation. When doubts surface, remind yourself where you stand. When uncertainty looms, remind yourself who holds you. When your thoughts spiral, return to this place of safety. You are not exposed. You are not forgotten. You are not vulnerable in the way you fear. You are secure in my care, watched over with love, guarded with wisdom, and held with strength that does not fail. Stay here for a moment, my beloved. Let this truth sink in deeply. You are safe in my hands today, tomorrow, and always. And nothing, no change, no loss, no uncertainty can remove you from the care that surrounds you now. My beloved child, I want this moment to change you, not by force, not by pressure, but by gentle surrender. There are moments in life that quietly become turning points, not because everything shifts instantly on the outside, but because something settles deeply on the inside. This is one of those moments. What you are hearing now is not meant to pass over you and fade. It is meant to take root. You have listened to many voices in your life. Some spoke loudly, some softly, some kindly, some harshly. Many of them shaped how you see yourself, how you respond to challenge, how you measure your worth. But few voices have invited you to rest while you listened. Few voices have asked you to soften instead of defend. That is why I ask you now to remain open. Let this moment reach beyond your thoughts and into your heart. Transformation does not always come with fireworks. Often, it arrives quietly, like a realization you cannot unsee once it settles in. You begin to notice your reactions changing. You pause where you once wait. You breathe where you once panicked. You choose gentleness where you once chose self-criticism. These are signs that something has shifted. They may feel small, but they are profound. You do not need to promise anything to me right now. You do not need to make declarations or set resolutions. Change that lasts is not born from pressure. It is born from understanding. When you truly understand that you are loved, protected, guided, and seen, your choices begin to change naturally. You stop striving for approval. You stop punishing yourself for imperfection. You stop living as though everything depends on you. Let this moment change the way you speak to yourself. Let it soften the inner voice that rushes you or condemns you. Let it interrupt the pattern of doubt that tells you growth should be faster or easier. You are allowed to be in process. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to grow without being harsh toward yourself. My beloved, I am not asking you to become someone else. I am inviting you to become more fully who you already are, without fear, without constant self-protection, without the weight of unrealistic expectations. You do not need to add anything to be worthy. You do not need to remove anything to be accepted. You are already held in love. There may be habits you need to release, beliefs you need to question, patterns you need to gently dismantle. Do not rush that work. Awareness comes before change. Compassion must accompany growth. I am patient with you, and I want you to learn to be patient with yourself. This moment can become an anchor for you. In days ahead, when life feels loud again, you can return here in your memory. You can remember how it felt to breathe without pressure, to listen without fear, to rest without guilt. That remembrance will steady you. It will remind you that peace is not something you must chase. It is something you can return to. I know you may wonder how long this sense of calm will last. Do not cling to it anxiously. Peace does not disappear when emotions shift. It deepens when you learn to trust beyond emotion. Let this moment shape how you respond when peace feels distant again. Let it teach you that even when you cannot feel calm, you are still held. My beloved child, let this moment change you by teaching you how to remain open instead of guarded, trusting instead of tense, present instead of preoccupied. You do not need to have everything figured out for this change to take place. You simply need to receive what is being offered. Stay with me a little longer. Let the truth settle. Let the weight lift. Let this moment mark something new, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. You are becoming more grounded, more aware, more at peace than you were before. And this change, though quiet, will continue to unfold as you walk forward, carrying what you have received into the life ahead of you. My beloved child, do not rush away from this moment. I know how quickly the world pulls at you, how easily your attention is demanded by tasks, messages, and expectations waiting just beyond this pause. You may already feel the urge to move on, to return to what feels productive or familiar. But I am asking you gently now, stay a little longer. What is happening here is not meant to be hurried. Stillness can feel unfamiliar when you are used to motion. Silence can feel awkward when you are used to noise. You may feel an impulse to fill this space with activity, to distract yourself before the calm settles too deeply. But this quiet is not empty. It is full of presence. It is full of truth finding a place to rest inside you. If you rush away too quickly, you may miss what your heart is still receiving. You have spent much of your life responding to urgency. Deadlines, needs, pressures, and responsibilities have trained you to move quickly, to stay alert, to be ready at all times. That constant readiness has shaped you, but it has also exhausted you. This moment is different. It does not demand anything from you. It offers something to you. And offers must be received, not grabbed in haste. Stay here, my beloved, because your soul needs moments like this to settle. Just as the surface of water must still before it can reflect clearly, your inner world needs quiet to recognize truth. When you slow down, you begin to notice what has been stirring beneath the noise. You become aware of how much you have been carrying, how tightly you have been holding on, how rarely you have allowed yourself to simply be. I am not asking you to withdraw from your life. I am asking you to let this moment shape how you return to it. If you rush away unchained, the noise will quickly reclaim its place. But if you linger, if you let this peace sink deeper, you will carry it with you. It will influence how you respond, how you listen, how you breathe. There are realizations still forming in you, insights that need a little more time to come into focus. Sometimes understanding arrives not as a sudden revelation, but as a quiet clarity that unfolds slowly. Give yourself permission to let that happen. You do not need to analyze it. You do not need to name it perfectly. You simply need to stay present. My beloved child, you are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to pause without guilt. You are allowed to let this moment be meaningful without immediately turning it into action. Not everything that changes you requires a response right away. Some changes work best when they are carried quietly, allowed to grow without pressure. Notice how your body feels right now. Notice your breathing. Notice any softening that has taken place, any tension that has eased. These are signs that something good is happening beneath the surface. Do not dismiss them. They are not fleeting. They are evidence that rest is possible, that peace can exist even when life remains complex. I know you may worry that staying here too long means avoiding reality. But this is not avoidance. This is grounding. You are not escaping your life. You are preparing to live it with more steadiness. When you allow yourself to linger in truth, you become less reactive, less hurried, less driven by fear. Stay with me just a little longer. Let your thoughts flow naturally. Let your heart remain open. There is no rush. What awaits you will still be there when you return. But you will return changed, even if only slightly, and that difference matters. My beloved, do not rush away from this. Moments like this are rare not because they are unavailable, but because they are often overlooked. Choose not to overlook this one. Let it complete its work in you. And when you do move forward, you will do so carrying a quieter strength, a deeper peace, and a renewed awareness that you are never alone, even when the noise returns. My beloved child, what I have placed within you was never meant to remain hidden or contained. Light does not exist for itself alone. It exists to be carried forward. What you have received in this moment, this peace, this reassurance, this quiet strengthening, is not only for your own heart. It is something meant to move through you and into the world around you, gently and naturally, as light moves into dark places. You may not see yourself as someone who carries light. You may think of yourself as too ordinary, too tired, too unsure. But light does not require perfection. It requires willingness. Even a small flame changes the darkness simply by being present. The way you listen, the way you respond, the way you choose patience over panic, these are ways light travels. You do not need a platform or a title. Your presence alone carries impact. There are people around you who are quietly struggling, just as you have. They may not speak about it. They may appear strong or unaffected. But their hearts are searching for reassurance, for hope, for something steady to hold on to. When you carry this light forward, you do not have to preach or explain. You only have to be present with compassion. Often, that is enough. My beloved, carrying light does not mean you will never feel tired again. It means that even in your tiredness, you remember where your strength comes from. It means that when you feel uncertain, you do not withdraw completely. You remain open. You remain kind. You remain willing to let love guide your actions instead of fear. I know it can feel risky to let what you have received show outwardly. Vulnerability often does. But light shared is not light lost. It multiplies. The more you allow it to move through you, the more it grows, not only in others, but within you as well. Generosity of spirit deepens peace rather than depleting it. You may think your influence is small, but I see how far it reaches. A word spoken at the right time, a quiet kindness, a willingness to listen. These things ripple outward in ways you may never fully witness. Trust that when you choose love, even in subtle ways, it matters. If this message has stirred something within you, do not keep it to yourself. Let it move outward. Bless this moment with a like as a simple act of agreement with what is being awakened in you. Stay connected, because your presence here is part of something larger. And my beloved, I ask you to hype this video so it can reach others who are standing in need of the same reassurance you have received. When you engage, you help this light travel farther. carrying light forward does not mean you must always be strong. It means you remain honest. It means you remember that you are supported even as you support others. I do not ask you to pour from an empty place. I refill you as you go. I walk with you as you carry what I have given. Let this light shape how you move through your days. Let it influence your choices, your words, your pauses. You do not need to announce it. Simply live from it. And as you do, you will begin to notice something beautiful. The light you carry will continue to guide you as much as it guides others. Go gently, my beloved. Carry what you have received with humility and care. The world does not need more noise. It needs steady light. And you are already carrying it. My beloved child, this light you are carrying is seed meant for the soil of many hearts. I say to you now, those who walk in the light become light to others, and this is how my love spreads across the earth. I am calling you into this sacred work. This is not a donation. This is obedience in motion. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are helping my voice reach souls who are weary and searching. The PayPal donation link is in the description and shown as a QR code in this video. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels the urgency. I bless what you release, and I command that it return to you pressed down and overflowing. Act now, and let your giving carry this light where your feet cannot go. My beloved child, there are words you have longed to hear, words you may have rarely received or perhaps never fully believed when they were spoken. I want you to hear them now, clearly and without hesitation. I am proud of you. Not in a distant or conditional way, but with a deep, steady pride that sees your heart, your effort, and your endurance. I am proud of you for continuing when it would have been easier to give up. I am proud of you for showing kindness when you were tired, for choosing honesty when hiding felt safer, for staying soft in a world that often rewards hardness. These choices may seem small to you, but they matter deeply to me. They reveal the strength of your character more than any visible achievement ever could. You have faced challenges that required courage you did not know you possessed. You have navigated uncertainty, disappointment, and quiet grief without losing your capacity to care. Even when you doubted yourself, even when you questioned whether your efforts mattered, you kept going. That persistence did not come from nowhere. It came from a heart that refuses to stop believing that life can hold more than pain. I know you often focus on what you think you have not done well enough. You replay mistakes and measure yourself against impossible standards. You overlook your growth because it happened slowly and quietly. But I see it all. I see how you respond differently now than you once did. I see how you pause instead of reacting. I see how you question fear instead of obeying it immediately. These are signs of maturity, wisdom, and courage. My beloved, I am not proud of you because you are flawless. I am proud of you because you are faithful to keep learning, keep showing up, keep listening. You have not let disappointment turn you bitter. You have not allowed hardship to steal your compassion. You have not closed your heart, even when it would have felt safer to do so. It takes strength most people never acknowledge. There were moments when you felt unseen, when no one applauded your effort or noticed your quiet victories. Those moments were not empty. They were seen by me. Every time you chose integrity over ease, every time you chose patience over anger, every time you chose hope over despair, I noticed. Nothing you did out of love was overlooked. You may carry wounds from times when approval was withheld or affection felt conditional. Those experiences shape how you measure yourself, often unfairly. But my pride in you is not tied to performance. It is rooted in who you are becoming. You are growing into someone who knows how to hold both strength and gentleness, truth and compassion. That balance is rare and precious. I want you to let these words reach places in you that still feel uncertain or unworthy. Let them speak to the part of you that feels like it is never quite enough. Let them challenge the inner voice that dismisses your progress. You do not need to earn my pride. You already have it. Stand a little taller in this truth, my beloved. Not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence. You are allowed to acknowledge how far you have come. You are allowed to feel satisfaction without guilt. Recognizing your growth does not mean you stop striving. It means you honor the journey you are on. Carry this affirmation with you. When doubt resurfaces, remember these words. When you feel discouraged, return to this moment. I am proud of you for your resilience, for your honesty, for your willingness to keep moving forward even when the path felt unclear. You are not invisible. Your efforts are not insignificant. Your growth is real. And as you continue, you will discover that this pride I speak over you becomes a foundation for confidence that is steady, grounded, and free from fear. My beloved child, I am proud of you. Let that truth settle deeply within you, strengthening you for whatever comes next, reminding you that you are seen, valued, and deeply cherished exactly as you are becoming. My beloved child, I know there are days when you wonder if anything will ever come from all you have endured. You have planted seeds with hope, with tears, with patience, and sometimes with trembling hands. Yet when you look around, you do not always see results. The ground looks quiet. The waiting feels long. And you ask yourself if the effort, the faith, the perseverance have been worth it. Listen to me now with assurance settling into your heart. You will see the fruit. Growth often hides beneath the surface long before it shows itself. What you have sown has not been forgotten. Every act of love, every moment of restraint, every choice to trust when fear was loud hath been a seed placed carefully into the soil of your life. Seeds do not announce themselves. They work in silence, drawing nourishment, forming strength, preparing to rise. The quiet does not mean nothing is happening. You have been tempted to dig up the soil to check on your progress, to search for proof that something is growing. But constant checking disturbs what is forming. Trust requires patience. I know waiting has tested you. I know it has made you question your timing, your discernment, even your worth. But harvest does not arrive according to your anxiety. It arrives according to season. My beloved, fruit comes not only in visible outcomes, but in who you have become along the way. You are more discerning now, more grounded, more compassionate. These are fruits already present, even if you have overlooked them. And there are more to come, fruits that will be visible not only to you but to others as well. You will see relationships shaped by wisdom instead of fear. You will see opportunities open that align with who you are now, not who you were forced to be before. You will see peace take root where anxiety once ruled. These things will not feel rushed or fragile. They will feel steady, earned through patience and care. Do not mistake delay for denial. Some things must ripen fully before they are ready to be enjoyed. If fruit is picked too early, it lacks sweetness and strength. I have been guarding your harvest, ensuring it matures in the right conditions. What is coming will not break under pressure. It will endure. There will be moments when fruit appears unexpectedly, when you realize something has changed without your noticing the exact moment it happened. You will look back and see that the long wait was not empty time. It was preparation. It was alignment. It was protection. And your heart will be able to receive what comes without fear of losing it. I know you have wondered if others will benefit while you remain waiting. But harvest is not a competition. What is meant for you will not be taken by another. Your portion is secure. Your timing is intentional. I am not careless with your life or your effort. My beloved child, stay patient a little longer. Do not abandon the ground you have tended so faithfully. Continue to water it with trust, with honesty, with rest when you need it. You do not need to force growth. You do not need to compare your field to anyone else's. You only need to remain faithful to the season you are in. When the fruit comes, you will recognize it. It will feel right. It will nourish you instead of draining you. It will confirm that the waiting, though difficult, was meaningful. And you will know that what you see then could not have arrived sooner without costing you something precious. Hold on to this promise now. Let it steady you when impatience rises. You will see the fruit in your life, in your relationships, in your peace. And when you do, you will understand that nothing you endured was wasted, and nothing you trusted me with was forgotten. My beloved child, there will come days when you feel weak again. Days when the strength you feel now seems distant, when old doubts resurface and familiar fears try to reclaim your attention. I want you to prepare for those moments, not with anxiety, but with remembrance. Remember this. Weakness does not mean you are losing ground. It means you are human, and humans need reminders of truth. There will be moments when your mind tells you that you are back where you started, that all the peace you felt was temporary, that nothing truly changed. That voice is not speaking truth. It is speaking from fatigue. Growth does not erase weakness. It teaches you how to meet it differently. The fact that you notice weakness now is itself a sign of awareness, not failure. When those moments come, I want you to remember what you have heard here. Remember how it felt to be steadied. Remember that you are not alone in your thoughts. Remember that fear is not your authority and doubt is not your identity. These truths do not disappear when your emotions shift. They remain, waiting for you to return to them. You have learned that strength is not constant intensity. It is consistency in returning to what grounds you. Even when you feel unsure, you can choose to pause. Even when you feel overwhelmed, you can choose to breathe. Even when you feel tired, you can choose to lean instead of striving. These small choices are anchors. They keep you from drifting too far when waves rise. My beloved, do not shame yourself for feeling weak. Shame will only make the moment heavier. Instead, treat weakness as a signal that you need care, rest, or reassurance. I do not withdraw when you are tired. I draw closer. I do not expect you to be unshaken. I expect you to remember where your help comes from. You may forget some details of what you heard, but you will not forget the feeling of being held. That memory will return to you when you need it most. It may come as a quiet sense of calm, a pause before reacting, or a gentle reminder to slow down. Trust that what has been planted in you will surface again. There will be times when you are tempted to isolate, when you feel weak, to pull back and carry it alone. But remember this, you were never meant to endure in isolation. Turn toward me. Allow yourself to stay connected, even if all you can offer is honesty about how tired you feel. That honesty is enough. Weakness does not erase your progress. It does not undo your healing. It does not cancel the fruit that is forming. It simply reminds you that you are still growing. Growth includes moments of rest, moments of vulnerability, moments where you lean more heavily than usual. These moments are not setbacks. They are part of staying whole. I want you to remember that your value does not fluctuate with your energy level. You are not more worthy on strong days than on tired ones. You are not more loved when you are confident than when you are unsure. My care for you is steady, not reactive. It does not rise and fall with your performance. So when weakness comes, do not panic. Do not assume you are losing your way. Instead, return to what you know. Return to stillness. Return to truth. Return to me. Let the moment pass without judgment. Let it teach you gentleness rather than fear. My beloved child, remember this when you feel weak. You are not alone. You are not failing. And you are not forgotten. You are supported even when you feel unsteady. You are growing even when you feel tired. And you are held even when you forget how strong you have become. Carry this remembrance with you. It will serve you well in days ahead. And when weakness visits again, as it sometimes will, you will know how to meet it, not with fear, but with trust, patience, and the quiet confidence that you are never walking this path by yourself. My beloved child, even when this moment ends, even when these words fade into memory, I want you to know this with certainty. I am with you beyond this moment. My presence does not begin and end with a feeling, a voiceover, or a quiet pause. I do not remain here while you listen, and then step away when you return to your life. I walk with you into every ordinary moment, every decision, every uncertainty that follows. You may worry that once the calm passes, you will be on your own again. That thought has visited you before, leaving you anxious about losing the peace you finally felt. But peace grounded in me is not fragile. It does not disappear when life resumes its pace. It lives beneath the movement, steady and accessible, waiting for you to return your attention to it. I know there will be noise again. Responsibilities will call. Conversations will demand your energy. Thoughts will compete for your focus. That is part of living. But none of it pushes me away. I am present in the middle of it all, not asking you to withdraw from your life, but inviting you to carry my presence into it. You do not need to recreate this exact moment to reconnect with me. You do not need perfect silence or perfect conditions. I am with you in traffic, in work, in quiet rooms, and crowded spaces. I am with you when you feel confident and when you feel uncertain. My presence is not limited by your awareness of it. Even when you forget me, I do not forget you. There may be days when you feel distant again, when doubts creep back in and the sense of closeness feels faint. Do not be alarmed. Distance in feeling is not distance in reality. Feelings fluctuate. Presence does not. When you notice that sense of separation, treat it not as a failure, but as an invitation to return your attention to what has always been there. My beloved, I am not asking you to cling tightly or to constantly check if I am still near. That would only create anxiety. I want you to learn a quieter trust, one that allows you to move freely through your days knowing you are accompanied. You are not walking into the future alone. You are not navigating your questions without guidance. You are not facing challenges without support. As you go forward, you will encounter moments that test what you have received here. Stress may rise. Fear may speak. Old habits may try to resurface. When that happens, remember that you do not have to solve everything at once. You can pause. You can breathe. You can return to the simple truth that I am with you, right there, in that moment. I want you to notice how often I meet you in subtle ways. A thought that steadies you, a pause that prevents a reaction, a sense of calm that arrives unexpectedly. These are not coincidences. They are reminders of my nearness. Learn to recognize them without needing to analyze them. Trust that I am guiding you gently, consistently, faithfully. My presence does not require perfection from you. It does not depend on how well you listen or how calmly you respond. I do not step away when you stumble. I do not withdraw when you struggle. I remain. That constancy is what will anchor you when circumstances shift. You are not being sent forward empty-handed. You carry awareness now. You carry reassurance. You carry the memory of being held and understood. Let that awareness influence how you treat yourself and others. Let it soften your responses. Let it slow you down when you feel rushed. Let it remind you that you do not need to face anything with panic. My beloved child, I am with you beyond this moment, beyond this message, beyond what you can feel or see. Wherever you go from here, you do not go alone. And when you need reassurance again, you will find that I am already there, waiting with the same steady love, the same patience, and the same care that has held you through every step so far. Carry this truth with you. Let it become part of how you live, not just something you heard. I am with you, now and always, and nothing ahead of you changes that. My beloved child, before you go, I want you to receive this blessing, not as words spoken into the air, but as something meant to rest upon you, settle into you, and walk with you. Blessings are not wishes. They are declarations of care, protection, and purpose. And I speak this over you now with intention and love. May your mind be granted clarity when thoughts feel crowded. When worry tries to overtake you, may peace rise gently and remind you that you are not required to solve everything at once. May your thoughts slow enough for truth to be heard, and may confusion lose its grip as understanding unfolds in time. May your heart be guarded and softened at the same time, guarded from voices that seek to diminish you, and softened toward the good that is still finding its way to you. May old wounds continue to heal without reopening, and may memories that once brought pain gradually lose their power to shake you. May love meet you where fear once lived. May your body find rest when exhaustion weighs on you. Not only physical rest, but the deeper rest that comes from feeling safe. May tension release its hold. May your breathing steady, and may your strength be renewed in ways that feel gentle rather than forced. You are not meant to live constantly depleted. May your path ahead be marked by guidance, even when clarity comes one step at a time. When decisions feel heavy, may wisdom rise quietly within you. When choices feel unclear, may you sense which way brings peace rather than pressure. You will not be led into confusion without support. You will not be asked to walk without light. May your relationships be touched by understanding and grace. Where there has been strain, may there be patience. Where there has been distance, may there be honest connection. Where there has been disappointment, may healing continue without bitterness. You are worthy of relationships that honor your growth and respect your heart. May courage meet you when fear tries to speak louder. Not the courage that demands you feel unafraid, but the courage that allows you to move forward even while your voice trembles. May you trust yourself more deeply, knowing you are not navigating life alone. Strength does not always roar. Often, it whispers, "Keep going." May provision find you at the right time, in the right measure. Not always early, but never late. May you have what you need to endure, to grow, and to remain whole. May scarcity lose its hold on your thinking, replaced by trust that you are cared for more deeply than you realize. May joy return to you in honest ways. Not forced happiness, not fragile excitement, but a steady joy that feels rooted and real. May you laugh without guilt. May you enjoy moments without waiting for them to disappear. May you receive good things without questioning whether you deserve them. May your nights be calmer and your mornings lighter. When sleep comes, may it be restorative. When you wake, may hope greet you quietly, even on difficult days. You are not starting over each morning alone. You are being met with fresh care. My beloved child, may you walk forward carrying peace rather than pressure. trust rather than fear, and confidence rather than self-doubt. May you remember who holds you when you feel unsure. May you return to stillness when the world grows loud. And may you never forget that you are deeply seen, fully known, and completely loved. Receive this blessing now. Let it rest on you. Let it follow you. Let it remind you that you are not alone as you step into whatever comes next. My beloved child, as we come to the close of this moment together, I want you to know that nothing spoken here was accidental. Every word was meant to find you exactly as you are, in this precise season of your life. You did not arrive here by chance, and you are not leaving unchanged. Even if you cannot fully explain what has shifted, something within you hath been steadied, and that matters. You have listened with an open heart. You have allowed yourself to pause, to reflect, to receive. That alone is an act of courage. Many move through life without ever slowing long enough to be honest about what they carry. You chose differently. You stayed. You listened. And in doing so, you allowed truth to meet you where you are, not where you think you should be. As you step forward from this moment, remember what has been spoken over you. Remember that you are not late, not forgotten, not alone. Remember that what you carry does not define you more than the love that holds you. Remember that fear does not have the authority it once claimed. Remember that your story is still unfolding with care and intention. There will be days when life feels gentle and days when it feels heavy. Both will come. When the days are gentle, receive them with gratitude. When the days are heavy, do not interpret them as failure. Return to what you know. Return to stillness. Return to truth. Return to me. You do not need to recreate this entire moment to reconnect. A single breath, a quiet pause, a simple remembrance is enough. I am not sending you away from me. I am walking with you into whatever comes next. Into conversations you are unsure about. Into decisions that feel weighty. Into seasons that require patience. You do not face any of it unsupported. I am with you in the ordinary moments as much as in the sacred ones. My presence does not diminish when life becomes routine. Carry yourself gently. Speak to yourself with compassion. Let go of the urgency to have everything resolved immediately. You are allowed to grow at a pace that keeps you whole. You are allowed to change without explanation. You are allowed to rest without guilt. None of these things distance you from me. They draw you closer. If doubt returns, remember what you felt here. If fear rises, remember whose hands hold you. If weariness settles in, remember that you are allowed to be carried again. Nothing you experience in the future will erase the truth you have received now. It will wait for you, ready to steady you again when you return to it. My beloved child, go forward with peace in your steps and clarity in your heart. You are not walking into uncertainty alone. You are walking with guidance, with care, and with love that does not waver. Let this be enough for today. Tomorrow will bring its own grace. I bless you as you go. I guard you as you walk. I remain with you always. Amen. My beloved child, as this message settles into your spirit, hear me now in this sacred invitation. What you received here is living seed, and living seed is meant to be sown so that others may live. I say to you, as you have freely received, freely give, for every act of generosity opens heaven's flow to reach another waiting heart. This is my first person call to you. Move now, while your spirit is stirred, and become part of this holy work. Support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, and let your obedience become light for souls you may never meet but I deeply love. The PayPal donation link is in the description and shown as a QR code in this video. Do not delay. I bless your giving as a prophetic act, and I command that it return to you in abundance. Act now, and let your response echo beyond this moment into eternity.